We're about to get into the latest Houston Texans draft rumors. We're about 24 hours from the 2023 NFL draft, and nobody knows what Houston is going to do at number 2 overall. We're going to break down kind of what they could be thinking here according to ESPN's Todd McShay. So be sure to subscribe to our draft channel here at Chat Sports. We're going to have you covered all week long with NFL draft content. Welcome into Texans Today by Chat Sports. I am Will Scott. We're taking a look at the latest Texans draft buzz just 3 days before the NFL draft. It is draft week, and nobody knows what the Texans are going to do at number 2 overall. Right now, they control the 2023 NFL draft, and you want to stay in the loop. We're breaking down all the rumors we're hearing, so subscribe for more Houston Texans draft content, trying to get to 2,200 subscribers before draft night. Hit that subscribe button below for more Houston Texans news and rumors. That's a sublink, youtube.com/TexansTV. Todd McShay of ESPN, this is what he's hearing. I've spoken to a lot of people around the NFL about the Texans and keep hearing Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud will not be the pick. Nothing would totally shock me at this point. But it really sounds like the Texans will pass on the quarterbacks. Good grief. Which goes against everything we've thought for months. It also opens up the possibility of a trade back since there are plenty of QB-needy teams looking to land a potential signal caller this week. This is absolutely maddening. Not only are the Texans likely going to pass on C.J. Stroud, who in my opinion is clearly a top 2 quarterback in this draft, but they're not going to take a quarterback at all at number 2. That is the latest intel from Todd McShay, who is obviously very much in the know, knows what he's talking about, saying that it looks like the Texans are not going to take a QB at number 2. Last year, the number 3 overall pick, they didn't take a quarterback. They had 2 first-round picks last year. Didn't take a quarterback. Wanted to go Davis Mills. That didn't work out. What are they going to do if they don't take a quarterback at number 2? What if they have a guy in mind like Levis or Hooker at number 12, but they're not on the board at number 12? They're going to go with Case Keenum? What are the Texans doing? It is just mind-blowing what this front office is doing right now. I mean, it could just all be smoke, but there's too much smoke for something not to be burning over there in H-Town. Frustration level from you. If the Texans pass on a QB, scale it 1 to 10 down in the comment section. What is your frustration level going to be if Houston does not take a quarterback in the first round? The Texans hold the number 2 overall pick in the NFL draft. If they trade back, Todd McShay is saying the Colts and the Titans, both division rivals, would be interested. And Nick Caserio said just a few days ago that they're open to an in-division trade, which I don't like the sound of that, quite frankly. McShay also says that Tyree Wilson, the Texas Tech edge rusher, has been connected to the Houston Texans. So, not only, I just have to collect myself, not only are the Texans probably going to pass on a quarterback, they also might pass on Will Anderson, who's the best player in the draft. If you're going to go defense at number 2, you should be taking Will Anderson. The fact that they are even entertaining the idea of taking Tyree Wilson is a great player. Great player. Top 10, top 5 arguably player in this draft. But he's not Will Anderson. And he's rumored to potentially be in play to be the number 2 overall pick in this draft. We're going to be live on our Chat Sports main channel on draft night, also for days 2 and 3. So be sure to subscribe. I'll be heavily involved with that coverage. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. That is the sublink, and that link is in the comments and the description of today's video. So hopefully you can join us for all 3 days of the NFL draft. No commercial breaks. Rounds 1 through 7. We're going to be breaking down every single pick, and the Texans have a lot of picks. So you'll want to join us for our coverage. Tyree Wilson, going back to him. Look, he's a great player. I like Tyree Wilson. I like him at 12. I don't love him at 2. 61 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, one forced fumble for the Red Raiders in the Big 12 this past season. Here's what Todd McShay said about the situation. And whether it's Wilson or Anderson, my intel says that the most likely outcome Thursday is Houston staying put, not trading back, and taking one of the top 2 edge rushers. I know that I said on this channel multiple times that I thought all the noise about Houston considering not taking a quarterback at 2 was just a smokescreen. But like I said, there's too much smoke. I actually believe now that the Texans are going to pass on a quarterback. It's frustrating. It's crazy. It's stupid. It's dumb. It's maddening. It's moronic. But the Texans are probably going to pass on a quarterback at number 2. I would be surprised if Houston took a quarterback at number 2. Pleasantly surprised if they went QB at number 2. So I broke down the likelihood of who's going to be the number 2 overall pick. If the Texans don't trade back, very possible they will trade back, but it's possible that the Texans will trade back. But here is the likelihood of who the number 2 pick is if the Texans do, in fact, stay put. Will Anderson, I still think, is more likely than Tyree Wilson. Apparently, D'Amico loves Will Anderson. I expect that to be the most likely scenario at number 2. And honestly, if they go Will Anderson at 2 and still get a QB at 12, I would not hate that. Tyree Wilson, we've been hearing his name. Todd McShay is saying in all likelihood it's going to be one of those top 2 guys that is the number 2 overall pick on Thursday night if Houston does not trade back. Now, if they do go quarterback, I think Will Levis is going to be the guy. And the Texans, if you missed it, put out this weird social media post. And the font they used was the same font as Will Levis's tattoo on his right bicep. I don't know if there's anything to that, but it's interesting. C.J. Stroud, I think it's more likely they trade, I should say take him instead of Anthony Richardson. But if they go QB at 2, which I don't think they're going to do, I think it's going to be Will Levis. And interestingly enough, Will Levis is the betting favorite to be the number 2 overall pick right now. That could mean that the Texans trade out of it and some teams trades up for Will Levis, maybe the Colts. But if they do go quarterback, it's probably going to be Levis. They're not taking C.J. Stroud, which if they're not taking C.J. Stroud because he has the same agent as Deshaun Watson, that's just not the way to operate. Not the way to operate at all. They better have a plan. If they don't go QB at 2, their guy, if they have a guy, better be there at 12. What if he's not there at 12? The Texans better have a plan. You have got to take a quarterback in this draft. You have to. Maybe that guy is going to be Hendon Hooker, the Tennessee product. Peter King of Pro Football Talk has the Texans selecting Hendon Hooker at number 12 overall. Hooker's stock has certainly been rising. Was going to be a second-round pick, then late first. Now maybe middle of the first round. The Tennessee quarterback recovering from that ACL tear. But he was one of the best quarterbacks in college football this past season, if not the best, before that ACL tear against South Carolina. 27 touchdowns, 2 picks, over 3,100 yards, a 69.6% completion percentage. The ACL is a concern when you're talking about Hendon Hooker because you have not seen him play it down since the ACL tear. You're not going to until he takes his first career snap in the NFL. So I'm a little bit concerned about that, but you've certainly seen plenty of guys come back from ACL injuries and perform at a high level. Deshaun Watson included. He came back that next season for Houston and did not miss a beat. In fact, looked better than he did in his rookie season. Do you want to draft Hendon Hooker? Type D for draft or type P for pass down in the comment section. Go down and let me know. Do you want to draft Hendon Hooker? Peter King, worth noting, also has Houston selecting Tyree Wilson at number 2 overall in his mock draft. So that Tyree Wilson noise could be very real.